every once in a while, basically get information out to you. Anyway, we got an event coming up February 26th. Signups are in the Scrapyard Facebook group. So if you're interested in fighting at the Scrapyard, check us out. It's a Facebook group that's got 22,000 members in it now. If you don't have a Facebook group and you want to sign up, you can email me at scrapyardfighting@gmail.com. So we got fights coming out. I'm putting them out about every other day. I'm kind of wanting your guys' opinions on a couple things. So for the most part, I stuck with that I've done since forever. And I apologize ahead of time. You guys will be commenting and I won't be able to really respond to your comments unless I come to a stop sign. That's kind of how Ridin with Chicken works, because yes, I'm driving. But I want to get your guys' opinion on a couple things. Like, I always want to change things up every once in a while. I don't like things getting too staying the same for too long. So I've actually started doing some stuff with our thumbnails. Let me know what you guys think about that. Illuminate the State, I see you. I started contracting out our thumbnails. So let me know what you think about the thumbnails. If you think it's unnecessary, if you think it's too much, if you think it's something you notice faster and you want to click on, all good info. I appreciate any good feedback. So, what about camera angles? I was thinking about upgrading my GoPro to a GoPro Hero 10. So it's got some more features. It actually has a front-facing camera. So, like, if you're a fighter, you'll actually be able to see yourself in front of the camera from the GoPro. Intro music, like, I don't know, any ideas you guys have? I'll come back to this chat and I will reread what you guys are suggesting. We tried drone footage before. That was okay, but the problem is that the drone was really noisy and I had a lot of complaints online. Any other complaints you guys have, if you address it to me respectfully, I'll be completely cool with it and listen to you. I don't know if we'll necessarily completely change the whole way that the scrapyard runs, but at least it might get me to consider some things. Intro music for sure. So we have intro music, and sometimes I put them in videos, but sometimes I keep them out of videos in the interest of making the video shorter. Because let's be honest, if you see a 10-minute video, well, I guess an intro is only like 13. My intros are only like 13 seconds long. So I got Cincinnati and Jay Gotham both have wrote intro songs for us. There might be one or two other people with Scrapyard songs in the works, but I haven't heard any samples or anything. What's good, man? So I'm working on getting the videos out to you guys. As I said, it's like every other day, and I basically pick what video I want next. So I'm going to go through, to be honest, I'm probably going to pick the Jay Gotham fight next. And I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. There are a few reasons why I pick certain videos first. For one, if it's a shocking conclusion, if it's one of our bigger names fighting, maybe there's some significant meaning behind the fight, I'll pick those ones first, guys. But I'm still getting messages from people like, put my video up next. I don't like that. I generally try to avoid confrontation on things, and I don't like being put in a position where I'm being asked to do something. Sorry guys, I apologize. My connection is just dog poo today. I'm trying to keep this thing running, but I should be good up here. Are you in Eastern Washington? No, we're actually in Western Washington, Gig Harbor. But we do have fighters come from Eastern Washington to fight. Interesting enough, we have been having a lot of people travel a pretty good amount of distance lately. Look, our last event we had people coming from Bakersfield, California, Arkansas, Arizona, and we had a guy come from Colombia. So there's also, you know, various other people coming from like Oregon and Eastern Washington, all over Washington state, but we're starting to get more people wanting to travel from state to state to come out to fight in the scrapyard. That's because of you guys, the fans, watching our fights, commenting on our videos, being a part of the scrapyard, sharing is caring. But that's what's keeping this whole thing alive, guys, is people spreading the word. These fighters are getting their fights seen by a lot of people. I mean, yes, we do have mutual combat law, but we are also not charging for fights. We are not paying fighters. So that in itself is one of the big hurdles, especially like in Washington State, when somebody brings up, is what you guys do legal, that they assume that it's illegal. In fact, I had somebody it's on Facebook in a GoPro group today. I asked a GoPro question, and I posted a picture of our videos or a picture of our video, a picture of our videos, and I said something along the lines like I was asking a question about a video setting, and the guy said, "Hey, is that even legal, or is that stuff illegal?" But he was kind of just, what's up, Turtle? Castro. So he was kind of being an ass about it, and I said, well, that doesn't really matter, you know, that doesn't, it's not why I'm asking the question. And it basically came down to him asking, well, as long as you're not paying people or charging to get in, which we don't, we never have, we never will, because that is one thing that will absolutely make it illegal. We aren't breaking any laws, you know. So I appreciate everybody that's kept this thing going. I do want to say we just had our 3-year anniversary in the Facebook group. 3 years. So I didn't even know that. I didn't realize that the group had actually been around that much more before the fight started. But it had been. So this year, we're my YouTube channel is actually going to hit its 2-year anniversary in February. I forget exactly what day, like the 20th or something. So that'll hit the 2-year anniversary for our YouTube channel. We're getting close to 100,000 guys. All it takes is really one video. You put out one video, and then all of a sudden you just have subscribers pulling in left and right. It's really, really hard to figure out like how YouTube works. Who does your brilliant matchmaking? You're funny. Couldn't read the sarcasm in that. Who's this brilliant commenter that doesn't know what we do or understand how things work? So the way our matchmaking works, we have people sign up, and on the sheet they put in their experience level from a 1 to a 5. We base the fight on their weight, their experience level, and the type of fighting they want. If somebody doesn't fit what they want, as far as the type of fight or the outside their weight range or or their experience level, then that's it. Nobody has to fight. In fact, I've talked people out of fighting before. But sometimes, you know what, when you're there and you traveled and you're just like, oh, I just want to fight. It's really easy to take a match that you're not really ready for, despite being told you've seen this guy fight before, you know what he's going to do. I mean, we just had it this last event too. We had Jay Gotham fight somebody else, and Jay Gotham didn't have a fight, and this guy didn't have a fight. And I told him they're the same weight, and Jay's got more experience. But I walked up to the guy and I said, look, the only person left is Jay Gotham. And he's like, I'll do it. And I was like, well, okay, hold on. You know who Jay Gotham is. And I had to run through the whole thing. He's like, yeah, I know who he is. And he actually did pretty good. So, but I've also seen people come out to the scrapyard that were significantly smaller than someone else. Like, it was Nick the Brick fight. I'm not going to mention the other guy's name because we kicked him out of the scrapyard for reasons I'm not going to go over again. But he was significantly smaller, like 20, 30 pounds or so. But he ended up knocking out his opponent. So a fight doesn't always mean like what you think it means. You can't always tell who's going to win a fight ahead of time. But yes, we are. So that shows me right there that you don't watch a lot of Street Beefs, because if you've been part of Street Beefs for a while, you would see me fighting on the main branch of Street Beefs. I fought back in June of last year. We brought a crew of people out there. I am an official branch. There's only a couple branches of Street Beefs, and we're one of them. We just don't put our videos on the main Street Beefs channel. West Coast is actually putting a lot of their videos on their own channel now. So there's the main branch of Street Beefs, the West Coast group, the Scrapyard, which is us, and then there's Dirty South. And I can guarantee it, because Dirty South's a newer addition to Street Beefs that you probably don't know about them yet either. But that's okay, because I'm informing you on this. So yes, we're an official branch of Street Beefs. I talk to Scarface regularly. We just live in a completely different state, and you know, I run my branch here in Washington State. Unless there's like a big change that we need to do or something along those lines, or just sometimes I just reach out to Scarface and ask him how he's doing. There's not like a need for constant communication, I guess I could say. But people think that just because we have the Street Beefs name and you don't see our fights on the main channel, that we're not a branch of Street Beefs, which is not accurate. One of probably our biggest fight is on Street Beef's main channel though, and that's Arm & Hammer versus True Grit, and we got Gash versus Gumby on there. We got Chase the Dragon has a fight. We're not doing bare knuckle. There's a reason. For one, I don't jump into things unless I know all the legal angles behind it, because then that puts me in a position where I could get in trouble. So Icy Mike, yeah, I've talked to Icy Mike before. So he's been a part of Street Beefs, or he used to be more of a part of Street Beefs. He's kind of doing his own thing now, which is huge. I mean, he's got a big channel, but I haven't spoken to Icy Mike since, like, I'm sure he knows who I am, because I mean, we're putting out these videos like every other day, and we're getting a lot of views. So that's another thing. If we weren't a branch of Street Beefs, there's no way Street Beefs would allow us to use the name. there's no way they would allow us to, you know, something that they built up like that. They handle that stuff pretty quick, and they make it very spoken in their Facebook groups when you know, something comes up that isn't right. I did hear that there is a Streetbeefs UK in the works. Now, I don't know all the details about that. There's also a Streetbeefs that goes down to North Carolina sometimes. Now, I don't think that's considered a branch of Streetbeefs. I think it's just like a reflection of the main branch that travels. Oh yeah, Terrifier's not 6'5", guys. God, I swear. I swear, like, when I make a mistake, I gotta hear about it forever. Like, that'll just never go away. Oh, but Terrifier's in the chat. Yes, we do. We have an on-site EMT. So we usually have a couple. Last event we had a couple people, but one was a ambulance, or maybe they were 911 emergency nurse. But yes, we always have medical staff on site, medically trained personnel, nurses. I can tell you that I really try to hold safety as a high priority, but I mean, unless you come out to the fights and see it firsthand, you probably won't know exactly the lengths that we go to and the rules that we implement are there to protect the fighters. There's things that we don't allow in fights, and it's 100% to protect the fighters. We don't allow knees to the face. We don't allow elbows to the face. We don't allow heel hooks. Now, some things happen in matches that you guys see on camera and you guys complain about, like, oh, that guy got punched in the back of the head. Yeah, you know, stuff like that does happen. And our referees give warnings, and sometimes stuff happens off camera. You know, the ref will walk over and have a discussion with the fighter in the middle of the break. So you guys don't see 100% of everything. I try to put stuff in the videos to make it more transparent, so that you guys, like when we stop a video, I used to just stop it and splice it, say there's blood cleanup. Now most of the time when there's blood cleanup, I just let the camera, or I just cut it, and then I put a disclaimer in there that says, hey, we had to stop it for a groin shot or blood cleanup or something. Just because I know that if I don't specify what's going on, I'm gonna get a lot of questions about it. I feel like sometimes people just come on there and they don't even care about the fight. They just want to critique the fight, like in the way that we're doing things. Despite trying to stay legal, you know, having a really safe cage, medical personnel, extra rules. Despite all that stuff, people nitpick and pick out certain little things that they don't really like, and they get focused on those. But I'll tell you what, if you want to know what people think about the Scrapyard, like really think about the Scrapyard, go in our Facebook group right now. Go to Facebook and type in Streetbeefs Scrapyard. Go in our Facebook group and look up all the testimonials that people are leaving. I posted a topic yesterday that had 80 pictures in it. Various pictures of scrapyard fighters posing with other scrapyard fighters, group shots, showing the camaraderie between all the fighters in the scrapyard. Then people got into like leaving their testimonies of what they think about. Some people even left videos. They even put videos out of what they thought about the scrapyard. Like, truly think about it, like how it's changed their life. I know it sounds corny, and as a spectator from YouTube, you probably look at it like, well, how is going and fighting in a backyard going to change your life? Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people out there that maybe they don't got a lot of friends, maybe they're new to the area, maybe they're having a hard spot in their life, maybe they just broke up with their, you know, whatever, and then they find this group at the scrapyard, they come out, and we treat them with respect, and we motivate them. And so many people come out to the scrapyard and found like friends, like real friends. There have been some real connections made with us, and I'm not even exaggerating anything. Like I said, just go to the Facebook group. If you're a fighter in here and you've had a positive experience at the scrapyard, I'm trying to keep all these testimonials like on that one post. I'm trying to kind of document it's like leaving a review for a business. I'm trying to keep those all together. So if you fought in the scrapyard or even been to the scrapyard and have a positive experience, please go to the Facebook group and just leave a comment on that post with 80 pictures about what you think of the scrapyard. It gets other people to open up too. There's some people out at the scrapyard that they're not real social people, but when they come out to the scrapyard, we treat them in a way that they feel like they can open up and be themselves. They don't have to act a certain way. They don't have to try to, you know, be something they're not. So they come out to the scrapyard, they can open up and they meet people, and I tell you what, I've you know, no shit, like really found some good friends from the scrapyard. I've learned a lot about people. I think I've learned some real life lessons from just running the scrapyard and being part of the scrapyard. Like I said, I'm gonna get on editing that Jay Gotham fight. That's gonna be the next one to come out, guys. We ended up with 20 fights last month, and none of them were grappling matches. So, also I'm trying to get one of our champions to come back to fight in February. So I'm waiting to hear 100%. Sign up in the Facebook group. It's the top post. You go in, it says February 26th Scrapyard Fights. Click on it. It's a blue link. It says February 26th Fights. It's at Turtle. I hope you're fighting for the title this month. I mean next month. I feel like it's February already. Another thing that I want to talk about real quick are the belts, guys. So look, we have titles that are not filled. Talking 135, 145, 155, 170, 185, 205, 220, and heavyweight. Now we have all those weight classes in 3 different fighting styles: boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. Essentially, none of the spots are filled, none of the belts are filled in kickboxing except for one, and that's Jabberwocky. Good luck taking that one from him at 170. Good luck. But 155, everything open for kickboxing. For MMA, we got 135, 145, 185, 220 is open for MMA. Boxing, I'm not going to say 145 is open, but no, it's not. Lights Out has that title. So 140, 170 is open. 220 and heavyweight for boxing. So guys, there's titles out there, but just remember, if you come out and fight for a title, you can't take the belt with you. It has to stay at the scrapyard. If you want to buy a replica of the belt, you just got to get a hold of me and say, hey, I want to buy a belt. And then what I do is I go on to our belt manufacturer. Pony Boy. Yeah, come on out, 135. Hey man, we got no heavyweight boxing champion. No heavyweight boxing champion. I would do that. Illuminate. I would do that, but I want you to get the training in, man. I want to see like drastic improvements. The only way that you're going to get better is if you get into a gym. No, it ain't a Mustang. It's a WS6 Trans Am. 2002. It's actually been my dream car since high school. And my other car was broke down a couple months ago, so I needed a replacement, and I got this. It's not very fuel efficient, but I love driving it. And I have an exhaust cutout on it, so I can turn the exhaust up and down. What's up, DM? I'll give you guys a little. But I've got some parts laying around that I need to install. I've got a set of long tube headers. 220 kickboxing is open. You know what though? If you want to come out and do a kickboxing match and say you win the kickboxing title, but you don't think it's something that you really want to hold on to as far as like being able to defend, because I get it, there's some savages in the scrapyard, lots of savages, and if it comes up that you're just like, you know what, I don't think I want to fight that person, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. What I do is I would just let you relinquish the title, and then when it's time that you want to fight for that title again, well, you would have a title shot being a former champion. So don't shy away from the. I really want people to fight for the titles that have fought in the scrapyard. Not necessarily both parties, but I do want to see people that I know that I've seen come up fight in the scrapyard for that title. Now, like I said, if you're not confident holding it, relinquish it, come back to fight another day. But I really do want to get these spots filled. I want to have champions across the board. That way, we're having title fights all the time. El Powell, what's up? Big supporter of the scrapyard. Big supporter of Streetbeefs. Big supporter of backyard fights. I see you comment on other people's backyard fights. There's only one group of backyard fights that I am not for, and that's because the dude that runs it is not a good person. There are other backyard fight groups out there that I don't agree with how they're necessarily running things. Letting kids fight. I know some people are actually charging admission or paying fighters. Look, if you want to keep it legal and do it right, there's certain things that you got to do. Safety is another one. I see these guys doing these fights and they just do not take safety seriously. They say they do, but King of the Streets, oh man, I could go on for hours about how reckless that is, and just, but people don't want to see, people want to see that grit. They want to see the violence and the gore, and that actually draws people to videos more so than seeing a good wholesome, evenly matched fight, which is unfortunate, but that's really just how it goes, guys. I will say with like King of the Streets, I do like their editing. I like their camera work. They're doing good there, and they're killing it on giving people what they want. It's just not very ethical. It's yeah, I would never let a fighter just get destroyed like that. That brings me back to bare knuckle, guys. Now, I mentioned we won't do bare knuckle, and here's why. We stop the fights for blood. Well, you're gonna fight for free unless you're a pro. That's just how it works, man. Like, you don't make money unless you're a professional fighter, and then when you're a professional fighter, you don't make that much money. You think that, like, UFC fighters even don't make that much money in the grand scheme of things. Like, some of them make less than $100,000 a year, and for the amount of training that they got to put in, most pro fighters, they make, shoot, man, they might make $50,000 their whole career. Like, that's for most people, that's like a year's worth of work or less of working a 9-to-5 job. But back to bare knuckle, we stop the fights for blood, right? So it wouldn't make much sense to do a fight that is highly susceptible to making people bleed. Bare knuckles, that's how bare knuckle is. It's, if there's ever something that's going to make you bleed, it's less padding on your gloves. That's why there's more cuts in MMA than there is in boxing. New org. Pro isn't UFC level. Well, no, UFC is professional. So if you are fighting in the UFC, you are a professional fighter. However, if you are a professional fighter, that does not mean you are fighting in the UFC. You are a professional MMA fighter, and all professional means is that you receive money via contract for fighting in a match. So if you sign a contract to fight professionally, and then you start winning and you start getting noticed, there may be a possibility that the UFC might notice you, and then they might offer you a contract with the UFC or Bellator or One or any of these other high-level pro, what's up, OFA, or one of these high-level organizations. That's where you're going to make the money. You're not going to make any money at being a pro in these other organizations. You get the glory of telling people you're a professional fighter, but you could never fight amateur again for the most part. So you kind of shoot yourself in the foot there. If you're doing it, it depends on what you're doing it for. If you want that tag that says that you're a professional fighter, that you fought professionally, and you can brag to people about it. I'm not getting down on pro fighters at all. Don't get me wrong on this. But if that's what you want, then go do some amateur fights, find somebody to sign you pro, do a couple of pro fights. But if your goal is the UFC, well, you're gonna be going that route anyway. If your goal is amateur, just because you want to do it, well, that's similar to what we're doing. Now, you can actually find some pretty good competition at the scrapyard, but I would say on average, you're going to, sorry guys, on average, you're going to find higher skill level in an amateur setting, because we accommodate like everybody at the scrapyard, right? I mean, all levels, from beginner to pro level. Not pro, we can't let pros fight at the scrapyard, to pro level. So they're level 1 to 5. There's a high variance of skill levels. Not always easy to match up, but when you get into amateur fighting and you're fighting for a gym, well, most of the time a gym won't put you in the ring unless they feel like you're at a certain level. They don't, because you represent them. They don't want you to go out and just get destroyed and then have their gym look bad, because then, well, who's going to train at their gym if their fighters are all getting destroyed? And then they're not making any money. And then they have to shut their gym down. So on average, you're going to have a higher level of skill in an amateur setting. I don't know why that sounded weird to me and I had to repeat it. But if you want to experience fighting another person, maybe get some recognition socially off of Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, getting some views and all that stuff, well, Streetbeefs can get you views. You come out and you put out a good performance, then you can definitely be seen by a lot of people. You wouldn't believe it, but there's fights in the scrapyard that have almost 2 million views, simply because they put on an entertaining performance. I mean, Solo, Solo is a good example. Sorry guys, I can't read your messages, I'm driving. Solo is a good example. Where is he at skill level wise? Like, he might not be, at the top level for skill wise, but he's an entertaining fighter. People want to see Solo, and in fact, you wouldn't believe how many requests, like, even per day now, it's getting to be daily, that I'm getting emails about Solo. Okay, so I had a guy message me from the Czech Republic today. I am going to read all these comments later, guys, I promise. But if you have to ask a question, close the live chat and then just go down below and leave a comment down below, because that'll make it so I can instantly see the comment. But yeah, Solo, I mean, his videos, hundreds of thousands of views per video. I mean, he's been on World Star, and I get people messaging me. I had a guy from Czech Republic message me today, and he wanted Solo's, when he says, yeah, he wanted that sound. What's crazy is it's not the first time that this sound has been requested. So I actually have a sound file on my phone, and when people message me and want that sound effect, I can just pull it up and send it right to them through email. scrapyardfighting@gmail.com. If you want the Solo sound effect for your phone, I gotta go, guys. Peace out.